Hello everyone, we're group number 7.
I'm Zhang Yuti,
I'm Liu Pingjia, and our group members are Zhang Yunzhen,
Ran Yuqi,
Chen Yueran.
Li Caiyao. We're going to discuss on issue number 1, how to manage the risk of Taiwan resulting from the policy of using nuclear power.
Okay, let's get started.
Concerned a lot about the impact on the environment. There are some hazards such as nuclear waste and nuclear power plant emission.
How do we cope with the radioactive pollutant of nuclear wastes?
The radioactive pollutant indeed causes risk to the environment, but our government makes several measures to prevent the harm. For instance, the government chooses isolated locations where nobody lives nearby to store the nuclear waste. Anti-radiation installations are also built at the area. The government installs radioactive sensors there too. So, how about nuclear power plant emission like tritium and hot water?
Tritium water poses the risk of mutation. However, we could dilute the tritium water to reach the qualified standard, which does little harm to the environment. As for the hot water, regarding coral bleaching, the corals have fully recovered after the concerning laws were regulated and carried out strictly. If nuclear power isn't that dangerous, why didn't people in Taiwan fully support storing nuclear waste on Orchid Island?
Every decision our government made is in order to reach the greatest benefit for Taiwanese people. While choosing the places to store the nuclear waste, the government avoided active vaults, natural reserve, cultural district, and metropolitan area. What if disasters like Fukushima happen in Taiwan?
The probability of nuclear disaster is 0.00005, which is nearly equal to the possibility of being hit by a comet. When facing a risk, we shouldn't let emotion take control.
True. Instead, we should focus on scientific statistics.
In our part, we talked about the aspect on the environment regarding nuclear power.
Let us move on to the next part.
Bye!
Hi, I'm Mandy. I'm Carol, and now we're going to talk about this issue in the aspect of economy.
Yeah, first of all, our goal is to increase the electric power supply under the situation of not increasing or even cutting down on the carbon emissions.
Next, we're going to talk about practicing it. For our short-term goal, the government leads the use of nuclear energy and invests non-government institute to develop clean energy. For our midterm goal, the government divides the districts which use nuclear power and that of green energy. And for the last one, long-term goal, increase the ration of the districts which use green energy.
The reasons why we take such actions can roughly be divided into several ideas. First of all, the operating cost of nuclear power plant is quite low, yet the power supply is large and stable. Besides, the material is so abundant that it is almost impossible for us to make the material be exhausted. Furthermore, using nuclear power can effectively reduce the emissions of CO2 and SO2, which can result in the alleviation of the greenhouse effect as well as the air pollution. However, it is still a goal for all human beings to develop a green energy that can perfectly reach the balance of economy and eco-friendliness.
The next part is about 4 risks and how to deal with them. First, we might face the protest from environmentalists, and to solve this, environmentalists would be affirm that we don't agree with the use of nuclear power forever. What we do is to progressively reach the goal of stop using nuclear power. After assessing the current economic situation in Taiwan, we feel that Taiwan should focus on nuclear energy before finding out a stable alternative energy source. The second one is how to deal with nuclear waste. First, regularly track and analyze citizens' health status data around the storage area. Second, learn from other countries' method of preserving nuclear waste. The third risk is about people might be afraid of Japan's nuclear disasters reenactment. And to solve this, first, we will design a protection mechanism. Second, invite experts of different fields to do regular survey. Third, establish emergency response system. The last risk is to deal with the fear of nuclear power from public. Since we fear things we aren't familiar with, the government should tell the people the real information about nuclear power instead of letting everyone struggle in fear of blindness. As a result, what we are doing is trying our best to make time for the procession of developing green energy.
And before that green energy is developed, we choose to use nuclear power as our power supply.
Ready, start!
As for the social part, when we talk about nuclear power, the most serious problem is people's distrust towards the safety of power plant. And after 311 happened, nuclear disaster is what most people are afraid of. So how can we manage it?
First, we can talk about 311, the destructive nightmare. It was the main reason that most Taiwanese opposed constructing a nuclear power plant. However, it was not compliant with SOP that made the destroy happen. If we can implement the SOP right after the trouble happened, we may avoid the tragic accident. What's more, a company in America starts to research a new technology to build a safer plant. The above mentioned are the ways we can manage the fear of safety.
Well, how about the cost of power plant? I've heard that the cost is extremely high.
Yeah, according to the information from authority concerned, it takes the government roughly 400 billion to build it and about 330 billion to decommission it. How can we manage it?
In the short term, the high expense seems a huge burden. Yet, if we consider further, compared to the new policy which the government decided to replace nuclear power with green energy, using nuclear power can reduce the cost about 6.4 trillion in the following 40 years, which is the average lifespan of a nuclear power plant. And these are our points.
To manage the risks of nuclear power from the social part. Bye-bye!
我刚少讲了4个字。
In conclusion, our team agree with the policy of using nuclear power. No matter what aspect we discuss, there are lots of rumors that we should clarify and ways to solve problems.
Each kind of energy has its pros and cons, while we can try to make a balance between benefits and risk. In other words, we can take advantage of the benefits and try to come up with the complete procedures to deal with the risk. And it's the end of our conversation.
Thanks for watching. Bye-bye!